Afternoon all. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a productive morning. Market's been absolutely flying, as you can see. Boring. Nothing happened today, is it, so far? So, see what happens this afternoon in New York. But a bit of a dull one this morning. So I've been getting on with other things. Been working on my Renko strategy. So if any of you are interested, I'll do a little bit of Renko stuff this afternoon to show you what I'm working on, what I'm developing. Well, not what I'm developing, but I'm sort of having a look at with Renko, basically. Just to add confirmation and look at a way to trade, basically. More prop firm related with fixed stop losses. So just developing a strategy that's more applicable there. So this morning, wow, what a flat one. Obviously, as you can see, Euro Swiss is within the Asian range. Most of the Euros are still within the Asian range. Nothing's gone anywhere. We had a little breakout on the Euro Pound to the downside, but came straight back. The yen has had a bit of strength. So we've managed to get a little bit of a push out on the yen this morning. All the yens have done pretty well. I say pretty well. We've had a little bit of movement, maybe half an ADR, quarter of an ADR on some of these yens, but some of them haven't moved anywhere. So the main movers today have been a little bit of yen strength. CAD has moved. So we've had some decent movement on the CAD pairs, as you'll see. Aussie CAD's come down. US dollar CAD has gone sideways, mainly because we've had some US dollar movement as well. So really flat session. New Zealand dollar CAD's come down. New Zealand's not been particularly strong. And obviously we've had a bit of a strong CAD. So it's just very little movement at all. So Dixie, slight push. Looking for it to push up into this gap and then see what happens up there. S&P, we had a little bit of a push out this morning. We've retraced back into Asian mid-range now. Same with the NAS. So, yeah, nothing moving. Looks like we might well get a push down on indices today. It's looking like it wants to challenge the lows of Asia. So if we get a pullback today, that might be fairly nice. But we obviously only had the first breakout of it yesterday. Obviously with this big wick here. So today they've basically pushed up and pulled back down again. So it may be that we get another day, just this pause day, and then continuation push down a little bit more. But this looks bullish as you like, doesn't it? So we'll see what happens with those two this afternoon. So obviously, as you would expect, I banked 0.86 this morning, just under 1%, just on some S&P trades. I think it was S&P trades. Can't remember what it was. What's the date? 11th. Yeah, S&P. Just the one S&P I banked. So, ADRs, dead as a doornail. Mehan, hopefully I've said that right. What's the best time frame for this indicator? Which indicator you're talking about? There's no best time frame for an indicator. Time frames are just different views of the price action. So market structure works the same way on all instruments. There's no optimized time frame. The higher the time frame, the cleaner the patterns, the more strike rate you'll get with anything. The lower the time frame you go, the more chop you're trading, the less accurate it will be. That's the same as any indicator, not any specific one. It's all of them. So ADRs today. Woohoo, we got one. US dollar yen. Dead as a door now, isn't it? It's awful. So we hit to the upside, as I said. US dollar is one of the only things that's moved today. So we've got a bit of a push to the upside. Overall, US dollar, as I kind of said yesterday, I had a bit of a conversation yesterday in the Telegram group about directional bias on the US dollar. Very difficult at the moment, obviously, with the way that it's moving to tell which direction we're meant to be heading. But we have just got a 38 pullback. Let's just take these fibs off so you can see. So from this move we had where we started this breakout and move here, we have just had a 38 retracement. Obviously it's pulled back into the reversal alerts support rectangle and bounced. We did make new highs. So from a market structure perspective, potentially anywhere around here could propel this higher, but it's really not moving massively. So it's a difficult one to tell what to do with. So when you're looking at US dollar yen, because obviously the yen and the US dollar push back and forth against each other, you get a lot of chop on this one. So ADR to the high in the current weekly trend is obviously down, so it might be a nice short to take, but we have just bounced beautifully off the 38 retracement and this balance period of 3 days here, where we basically, you can see here we've been orderly breaking out. So we had a nice consolidation, break up and a break up. We've just tapped back into this area now, so we're just back in the chop, which is likely where we would bounce from. So potentially not a great ADR reversal. It's the only one we've had today. We haven't really had any price action off the highs. It's only just got there, so we'll see. That one might come down, but not particularly interested in that one today. H4, pretty much the same as this morning, obviously, because we haven't gone anywhere. So the H4 ADRs, RSIs are not much difference. Aussie dollar CAD, we're still down here. This is potentially putting in a lovely double bottom at the moment. This area here, obviously, is where we rejected from multiple times previously. We cracked it, didn't like it, rejected from it again, rejected from it again. Potentially, we're putting in a lovely W formation reversal back up to the 24 here. So it looks like a really nice area. This is a strong buy zone here. Obviously, we cracked down dramatically, and then we had this accumulation and decided, no, we don't like it down here. So this area here is full of buyers, and it's being propped up, as you can see at the moment. But it's real tussle going on with the Aussie CAD down here. But we are extended, and obviously we should get some kind of correction out of there. If it does push down, there's going to be a lot of pressure as we come down in here. So looks like a pretty good long to me. There's no directional bias on Aussie dollar CAD. They're both shorts, so still good. And especially now as we're potentially putting a W formation in. CAD Swiss, my old friend. Obviously, I've got my initial positions on this one. We are just trying dramatically hard to get out of this high. Can't quite crack it. So we're in a real tussle here at the moment. There's a lot of selling pressure coming in, a lot of buying pressure coming in. We've got a real battle going on. So this is either going to crack down hard, or we're going to pop out and then we'll see a big pop to the upside. Popping into the upside, obvious levels are coming back up to the source of the break, which is here. All this support resistance there. So if we head up to there, additional position in all of this selling pressure to push back down. Massive move, no profit take. We are due at least a 38, if not deeper, retracement off of this one. We're waiting for Swiss franc. Swiss franc's still dead in the water. So until we get some Swiss franc strength, we're not going to see a lot of movement on this. There's no news on the CAD or the Swiss coming up at all this week. So yeah, just waiting for some strength to come through. Euro Swiss, same story. We have got some nice rejection starting at the highs now. So hopefully this one's going to start to come down. This area is obviously, it's very difficult to pick an area on this one for a retracement, but anywhere kind of up here is good. This is the main area here where we've butted into it multiple times. So that is a really, really good looking support resistance area. We've got the 72 as well. You can see I've got multiple positions on this. I'm always short in the euro. So yeah, definitely looking for drops from there. Pound Swiss. Massive extension, still lovely bearish engulfing on the 4 hour. You're miles away from a reversal alert on the 4 hour. Drop down for lower entries, hourly, M15, you will have had one already. So we've just had the reversal alert there on M15. H4, M15 is the best time frame combination, or hourly and M5. So it is showing signs of breakdown. We've had a lovely big push up to the highs today, which has been rejected. So they've taken all the liquidity out of there. Push back, M pattern. We haven't quite broken and held down there, but it's looking bearish at the moment. So looking really good for shorts on pound Swiss still. And pound New Zealand. Break to the highs. I've taken my first position on this one. Really like the look of the pound New Zealand as well. Obviously the same as the Euro New Zealand. We've just stuck our head out above these highs. We haven't broken this high yet. If we break this high here, this last candle of the daily, so if we put a new high in today, potentially we are going to break to the upside. But look at the green candles, how many we've had in a row. There hasn't been a breather on this pair for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 days, just nearly 3 weeks, basically, 3 trading weeks, 3 weeks of trading, yeah. Massively due a pullback. It will pull back at some point, so hence me being in it at the moment. So just waiting really for either pound weakness or New Zealand dollar strength just to kick that one into touch. But that's looking good. And New Zealand dollar CAD, we looked at all these this morning, so I'm kind of repeating myself. If you weren't here this morning, this is a replay of the morning. New Zealand dollar CAD, we've just broken down. Massively embedded down here. New lows going in. So yeah, just really, really like this one. For a pullback at some point back up into these lows right here, so 38 retracement. But again, same thing, we're just waiting for some movement. We haven't really had a lot, so we're just breaking down new lows at the moment on this one. So if you have got into it, obviously we are already extended. If you've entered positions, the further we get extended, the bigger the spring back tends to be. So I'm just supping coffee at the same time. And lastly, New Zealand dollar Swiss, US dollar Swiss, which is a bit of a mess. I don't really want to short US dollar at the minute. So this is range bound, obviously. We're up at the top of the range. So technically this is actually a pretty good short, but really undecided. A lot of selling pressure here, obviously. But we are stuck. So again, looking at the Dixie, until we get some confirmation on direction on the Dixie, the US dollar index, it's difficult. I would have to say longs. Looking at the MA's price action, it looks like it wants to go long, but there's no confirmation yet. We've had no breakout. Be an interesting one to look at on Renko in a minute, just to see what that looks like on a Renko chart. Going back to 24th of November. So yeah, no real directional bias. So nothing, I'm not really interested in US dollar Swiss. Hourlies, CAD Swiss, still pushing, still massively embedded, still going to collapse at some point very soon. And Euro Swiss. Again, same thing. Extended really nicely at the ties there. And we're going to get at least a pullback down into here or here somewhere. This massive buying pressure. We're going to usually we do an A-shaped recovery on moves like that. Yeah. So when you get a big strong move, you get a A-shaped recovery. In this case, it's W. There you go. Sort of at least a pullback. Yeah. So that's what we're waiting for. Just waiting for the pullback. And then if you want to get in long, if you fancy Euro Swiss long, I know a lot of people are fancying Euro Swiss long now. Go for it. Wait for it to pull back, then jump in long. Again, you'll be waiting for a reversal alert, or you'll use the support rectangle for support, obviously, and bounce out of that. Right, so that's everything we've got set up at the moment. Not a lot. Same as not a lot. Same as this morning, isn't it? Nothing's changed. Nothing's moved. All very dull. But hopefully we'll get some more movement in the afternoon session. So all the positions I've got on at the moment are pretty much as they were before. S&P and NAS, we've got bearish engulfings potentially going in on the 4 hour. But obviously we are about to start the New York session. So we've had a reversal alert. So we've got just about there on the S&P. Look, not far. God, cracked it by a pip. So just about got bullish price action off the 72 on the S&P. So, you know, when we get a reversal alert initially, we quite often get the pullback. Yeah. And then obviously putting in that W formation. So we get the retest of the area that's just broken. Market structure's broken. So today, potentially we may well see a down day in New York. If we can get down here today, you can see where my pending entry is down here at these highs. If we can get down to there, that's where I'm interested in getting in on the retracement. I have got another position right down at these lows, but can't see it really today. But we do, you know, we have had it before. It's not an unknown pattern to put in that. Yeah, so we may well break down these lows here. If this breaks, will obviously be the potential supports for double bottoms. So we'll see. But, you know, we're normally bullish off the 72. So whenever we get down to the 72, we're normally off from there. So we do have the odd blip every now and again, but we'll see. But I'm expecting pullback today. It may be that we've done the pullback, you know. So this pullback that we're having in London might be it. But I would probably want to expect to see it deeper in here. But there's a lot of buying pressure here. Look, yeah, when we put this final rally in New York yesterday, a lot of buying pressure there, and you know it's been rejected constantly today. We're in it now, so you may well find that New York just opens with a flurry and we're off. But who knows? We'll see. But I'm positioned long anyway. So market's opening in 10 minutes. So I'll leave it up to you guys. What do you want to do? Do you want to watch the open? Do you want to do a little bit of Renko stuff, or what do you want to do? Any questions? Any comments on analysis? Anybody want to look at any pairs that I haven't covered? Bit of a skip over today because obviously we haven't really changed much from this morning. So pretty much a very fast forwarded version of this morning's live room. But yeah, so that's really all I've got for you at the moment. So so let me know what you think. What do you want to do? We got just over 10 minutes to kill until the open. So I'll put the open S&P and NAS up on one of my other platforms up there. So do you fancy having a look at some Renko stuff? Anybody trading Renko at the moment? Anybody using Renko or range bars to trade with? You could look at my favourite pair, Aussie New Zealand. Yeah. You're in New Zealand. Let's have a quick look at Euro New Zealand. Kind of skipped over Euro New Zealand, but yeah, we haven't gone anywhere. Same as usual. So Euro New Zealand, we are stuck in a range. We'll have a look at this one actually on Renko. This is a good example to look at on Renko. Yeah, I mean, yesterday's high on this is a magnet look at the moment. Last 2 days, yesterday's high drop. If we get to yesterday's high, I would be inclined to put a limit order at yesterday's high with whatever you want and a 10 pip stop on it. Not even a 10 pip stop. Yeah, 10 pips cover you. Yeah. If you get it, brilliant. If you don't, bleh. But it's not going anywhere at the moment. It's a horrible, horrible mess, this thing. We've had literally one move on it. Look. Sideways for multiple weeks. Move. Yeah. Who knows? It's horrible. Aussie New Zealand. I'm short. Euro New Zealand rather. I'm short. I'm always short on the euro. Poor old euro. I've got nothing against the euro. Let's have a look at euro. Right, euro New Zealand. Oops. So that's the euro New Zealand. Just take those indicators off. I'm leaving them on there, but I'm just going to take them off for the minute. So, euro New Zealand, obviously that consolidation period that we've looked at, that has gone on for that long, with these highs here. So this consolidation here is basically this on Renko. So what I'm using is basically half ADR Renko here, so roughly 50. So you can see obviously how it gets rid of the chop. So if we move here along, yeah, this move down is here. All of this mess here, which is horrible hard chop to trade. Yeah, it's really, really simple when you look at a Renko chart. Yeah, really, really easy to see that, where the breakout formed. We had a false breakout there, and then we had a breakout form there. So yeah, that's why I'm looking into this, obviously, because as I say, I've always likened it, as I said the other day, to Duplo bricks versus Lego. But there's an advantage of Duplo. It's really easy to build in, much faster. And also it just smooths out the time frames for you. So you don't have to worry about time frames. Most people, traders that are struggling, have a problem with time frame, which, like, here you go, prime example, the first question asked in here today, what's the best time frame for this indicator? Forget time frame. If you don't want to use time frames, use Renko. Stick the market reversal alerts indicator on Renko chart. Bang, you get in there, you get short there. Get long there, get short there. Yeah, really, really easy. Forget time, doesn't matter. This here is the 29th of September. This here is the 12th of December. Yeah, massive difference. We've got 2 months worth of extra data shown here on the chart, nicely smoothed out for us. So I'll look at some of the setups that I use on this. I'm planning to use on this in a minute, but use range bars for a while, David. Yeah, it would be good to learn more about Renko. Research Renko for a year. It was a waste of time, in my opinion. From customer service. Customer service, great name. Renkos are useful for scalping indices, in my opinion. You need to know your price action, though. Yeah. Exactly. Renkos are amazing for market structure. So if you want to go back to basics on market structure, if you find market structure difficult, Renkos are absolutely brilliant. So for spotting double bottoms, triple bottoms, breakouts, structure, everything, yeah, W. Anybody can't spot a W there? Almost impossible not to spot a W there, isn't it? But there's an even better W in there, and I'll show you that one in a minute. Range breakouts. Can't miss it. Can't miss it. But these are half ADR. So the equivalent in time frame on Renko, basically, the way a Renko brick is formed is on a number of pips. So each of these bricks is 50 pips. I'm using half an ADR. If you want to go get faster, i.e. go to a higher time frame, for example, in effect, you would use 25 Renko bricks. You're going to get much more price action then formed on the chart. So we're going back to the 13th of December now. Whereas when we use the 50, we go back, it's 14th of September, so it's not much difference, but you're getting a lot more chop, obviously. But there's 5 main patterns in Renko from a market structure perspective that are very, very easy to spot. And the higher the brick value you have, the slower your chart obviously is. So if you're using 1 ADR, for example, 100 in this case for Euro New Zealand, you'll find it's really slowed down. So we're going back to August here, and you can see market structure: high, low, higher low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and so on and so forth. So it's really easy to spot market structure with them, which is why I kind of like the look of them a lot. The simplest setups, the ones that I'm looking at and back testing at the moment, there's 5 of them. One of them being the M&W breakout. So we trade the market reversal alert indicator. Obviously, is designed to find M&W patterns. Yeah. So when we get that kind of formation, you get the reversal alert and then the retest of it. With M&W patterns in Renko, they are made up of multiple bricks. So typically an M&W pattern has a minimum of 5 bricks. Yeah. So there's a W. Yeah, it's a 5-brick consolidation and then a breakout. When you get that breakout confirmation, i.e. a full brick closed, that is where you enter your position. You will always have a 3-brick stop, which is equivalent in this case to 1.5 ADR. Yeah, because each of these bricks is half an ADR. So there's 3 bricks when we get in. So our stop goes below the low, which is 3 bricks. And then you literally let it run for minimum of 3 bricks. So you're looking to make 1-to-1 risk reward minimum on a W or an M formation. Okay, so really simple. You can also have wider M formations, but the wider the M formation, the entry would have been there, the wider your stop. So these guys are the best ones I'm finding to take. So that is your entry there. You would have got in there. You've got a 3-brick stop and you'll have a 3-brick target. So your target will be there. Yeah. So that's the first pattern. Really simple, isn't it? You can't miss them. Yeah. When you get 5 bricks next to each other that have not moved at all, yeah, as soon as it breaks to the upside, obviously if we're down at a low, because these are reversal patterns, remember, these will always appear at the end of a strong move. When you get 5 bricks at the bottom, you take that entry. Yeah, if you get 5 bricks at the top, it's an M. Let's see if we can find an M. There we go. Easy M. Yeah, so we've pushed up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Enter, stop, TP. Really easy, isn't it? Yeah. So that's the first pattern. How simple are they to find? There's another one there. That one wouldn't have played out. You'd have only got 2 bricks out of it. But, up to you with risk reward, break-evens, all that sort of stuff. You could have moved it to break-even. There's all sorts of things you can do. There's one there. Yeah, there's two here on this chart. There's an entry there, short, off of that M. There's an entry there, short, off of that M. There's an entry there, short, off of that M. But these are in consolidation. So you always want to do it when you've made a big run, ideally. They're an end of trend pattern, basically. But you could trade any of them. Risk reward, enter, short, there's a long there, enter there. Yeah, really simple. Market's just opened. I'm just keeping an eye on the S&P on my other chart. I'll let you know what's going on. Looks like it's just starting to come down ever so slightly at the minute. So M&Ws, yeah. Trend pullbacks, single or double brick trend pullbacks. So with these patterns, these are formed basically when you get a trend. Okay, so here we've got a couple of examples. So what we want to look for is a minimum of 5 bricks in one direction, yeah, forming a short-term trend, and then either a 1 or a 2 brick pullback. Yeah, so we've got a good example here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bricks down, short-term trend, 2 brick pullback, and then a pushback down. and then a 1 brick pullback, and then a push back down. And our entry on these is when we break the low of where we stopped that downtrend. So that would be your entry brick there to go short. And then you would use a stop of 3 bricks to wherever the high was. Yeah, so you would enter short on that one with a stop there. And then you target either 1-to-1 risk reward or higher, whichever you fancy basically. But the same thing, all it is literally a case of we're trending down. We have either a 1 brick or a 2 brick pullback. And then as soon as we break that level there with a full completed brick, that is our entry. But so we're confirming continuation of trend. Market structure, high, low, lower, high. We're starting the lower low leg. Yeah. Really, really simple again. So all you're doing is you're looking at your chart over here and you're waiting for 5 bricks to form in one direction. You're waiting for either 1 or 2 bricks to pull back, and then you can place literally a pending order above that high. So let's say, for example, there was 5 bricks here. So here's one here. Let's use this one as an example. Multiple brick push, 1 brick pullback. That is your entry brick there. Yeah. So we've pulled back. That's the high. We've broken that high. We enter on a confirmation of that. Our stop goes here, and we target sort of 3 bricks above. So 1, 2, 3. So that would have been your TP. Yeah. And again, you can play multiple entries when you're using Renkos as well, which is the other thing I like about them. So we entered that trade there. So we entered our trade, we put our stop loss, we put our TP, we forget about it, we don't touch it. It pulls back and chops around for a bit. And then we see a W forming. So we get in on that W, put our stop there. So we've now got 2 positions long on this. Yeah. But we're moving half an ADR at a time. So all of this rubbish in here, just not paying attention to any of this. No signals whatsoever. If you're trading this, you're trading chop constantly. You're up, down, in, out, in, out. And over trading is one of the biggest problems traders have. This completely stops you over trading because you can't see any entry patterns here. Yeah, there's nothing in here at all to trade. There's a W there, which you would have taken that trade on, but the rest of it in there is just chop up and down, isn't it? No simple patterns. Yeah. So there's another one. 1 brick and 2 brick pullbacks. So literally a pullback down, up, down. If you take the 1 bricks, obviously your stop is a lot tighter. So this is only 4 bricks down, and again you could bend these rules if you wanted to, but 5 bricks down really I think is when you start a proper trend, because this is a 2 ADR move. So we're confirming a good 2 ADR move down in price, and then we're pulling back 1 ADR. So again, think fib levels. 31.8 retracement, strong trend continuation, enter, stop, TP. Yeah, so there's one there. So that's your brick pullbacks. M&Ws have done as well. Trend retests are another really good entry. I'm just trying to find a trend retest. A bit difficult on this one because we're not trending. Let's try and find something that's been trending. Pound yen. So let's go 105 on that. Blank. So trend pullbacks basically are where we get a pullback to, support and resistance pullbacks, where we get a pullback to a support and resistance. So whenever you see something like this, yeah, we just basically put a line where we see that support. And when price breaks down below that support and comes back up and we get 1 brick closed to the downside, that's our entry and that's our stop. Really, really, really tight on those ones. Let me just try and find another one. Just trying to find an example in here. Why is that all the chart I've got on that pound yen? I haven't got one in there either. But that's basically what that is. So all it is literally, let me draw it out for you, is bricks to the upside, obviously going up like that. and let's say we come down like that, and then we make that double bottom, we push up, we pull back down, we break through that level down to there. So you draw your support resistance line there. As soon as we break up into there and then we close back down, that is our entry. Our stop goes there, and obviously risk reward to the downside. So it's literally just support and resistance. But the big advantage again, and something I get asked a lot, and I had a problem with when I first started trading, was how do you draw support and resistance? It's very subjective with candlestick charts. You've seen me draw support and resistance multiple times, haven't you, in the live room? So stick a high there, someone else will stick it there, someone else will call this, whoops, wrong one, this level here. Someone else will call that support resistance. Well, I probably would actually. Support and resistance. So it's very subjective, and everyone can draw it in a different way. You give the same person, give 10 people the same chart and tell them to draw support and resistance on it. You'll get 10 completely different charts back. Renko, where's support and resistance? Where's the support on Renko chart there? There is nowhere else it can be, is there? So we've got one there. One there. We've got double top there. Yeah, that's support and resistance. Really, really simple. So if we break above it, we've made a new high. Market structure. So right where we are now, let's look at this as an example. Where we are now, if we break above here and put a brick in here, yeah, we've got a low and a high. So whenever we pull back to this level, or potentially to this level, and put in a brick in the opposite direction, that's our entry. And you're always going to have a 2 brick stop on these. So there's always a massive risk reward. Yeah. So support and resistance is really, really simple. This is a really good chart to use as well for the other candlestick pattern, which I'm pretty sure you've probably identified already. Anybody got any ideas? Profster, I'll have a look at pound odd in a minute. Nasdaq has put in a long tail to the downside and looks like it's pushing back up at the moment. So there's no real movement on it at the minute. Anybody spot any obvious candlestick patterns on this chart for Renko? It's not a trick question, guys. Come on. Double bottoms, triple bottoms. Really simple. So you can't get these wrong either, right? Double bottom. Spot the double bottom in here. That's a double bottom. Yeah. Look how simple that is. Double bottom bounce. So when you're trading Renkos, if you see an obvious double bottom form, so when this pulled back to there and pushed up and made a new high and pulled back to there, and this candle formed, making that's where you enter. You're always going to have a 2 brick stop, minimum 2 brick TP, double bottom bounce. Yeah. Yeah. Pull back down. You would have got in there, stop under there, triple bottom. Pull back down, brick to the high, stop under there, quadruple bottom. Pull back down, brick to the high, enter there, stop under there, 5 times bottom. Head and shoulders, Luke's just come up with, yeah. Head and shoulders, how easy is it to spot heads and shoulders on these as well? All right, 1 brick break to the downside, entry. If you want to trade head and shoulders pattern. Yeah. I don't like head and shoulders, but look how horrible this looks, yeah? Here. This is January. Here. This big move up. This is November, right? This move here is kind of, because we're only using half of an ADR, you can see this thing hasn't moved half an ADR for ages, really. So it smooths the whole thing out. So you're going to get way less entries with Renko. But the entries you get are, like I say, Duplo brick, simple to trade, aren't they? Yeah. Anybody that has any issues spotting double bottoms and double tops, you don't have them anymore. Yeah. Really, really simple. And you can also apply other indicators to this as well. Now, this is a longer term view of the market, which I'm using here. This is a 1 ADR brick. So let's put this back down to 50, half an ADR. So obviously you can see now, you can zoom out on this obviously well. So you can see how it's obviously simplified as a chop. So here we got a lovely double bottom. Yeah. So pulled back down into this level, pushed up really high, pulled back down into this level. We had one candle up. So your stop on this is going to be 1 ADR. The reward so far on this has been 7 ADR. Yeah. But you got into this trade in December, at the beginning of December. So, you know, it's a long kind of hold strategy. But if you want to day trade with this, it works in exactly the same way. You just need to pick a brick level. So if you're going to day trade, you've got to be below, really, I would say, a quarter of an ADR. Quarter of an ADR would be the absolute bare minimum I would look at for day trading, I think. But the same applies. Got a double bottom, put in there, break to the highs. There's a bit choppy price action at the moment on this one, but if we scroll back through, you'll see price action and patterns forming all over the place. Yeah, really, really simple to spot. Entry, stop. Don't know where you would have got out. It's up to you, really. But so yeah, you can see them here, obviously, all the time. You've got an M pattern formation here. Look, yeah. You didn't take that M pattern formation. Why? Because you didn't get it. You didn't get that breakdown. So it's an invalidated M pattern formation. But what was it? A trend 2-bar pullback continuation. Yeah. There's your entry. There's your stop. GP's up there. Trend continuation pullback. So there's loads of them. You can spot them really, really simply. But if you concentrate on just a couple of patterns, you'll be able to trade them really, really simply. Beautiful W there. Look. 5-bar W, entry, stop, off to the upside. So yeah. So that's basically the patterns that I'm kind of concentrating on myself. Time frames is one thing that you need to kind of pick yourself, really. Say time frames, brick counts rather than time frames, because obviously the lower brick count you go compared to the ADR, the more chop you're going to reintroduce onto your charts. But the faster you're going to see patterns forming, the tighter your stops are going to be. So it's very difficult to sort of pick a brick size, which is what I've been looking at over the last couple of weeks, really, is how to pick the right brick size for the time frames that you want to trade. So if you're going to go with something like futures, which is where I was looking at this for futures to develop for my futures account for trading that, I need to be on low brick sizing because I've got to be out by end of day. Whereas with swing trading and longer term, slower sort of entry trading, higher brick values are much better because you're cutting out an awful lot of that chop. So, you know, with this sort of thing here, you can see bottoms so unbelievably clearly. Going back here, where are we here? Let's zoom out on this chart much further. So we got a bottom there going back to February last year. What is that? 50, yeah. Is that pound yen? It's December, September, and all the way back there to March last year. So, you know, if you're going to swing trade long term, it's so easy to identify areas to take trades from. How do I get this candles? So there's loads of Renko indicators, if you like, out there for MT4 and MT5. They vary in quality, but they all do the same thing. I'm using one at the moment which is just called STG Renko, just to sort of fine tune and develop my strategy. But you can use anything you like, really. It all depends on the one that suits you. Some of them work really well. Some of them work on your existing chart and they block out your candlesticks and draw new ones in. Most of them work on offline charts. So these create what's called an offline chart where it replots price. But go and have a Google if you're interested in it and find STG Renko. But for market structure identification purposes, obviously it's really nice for smoothing out your market and smoothing out price action. So if you're interested in learning more about price action, this is a great way to sort of study it in more detail. Beautiful one brick pullback there, look. Big strong move, one brick pullback, entry, stop, continuation. One brick pullback, entry, stop, continuation. Double bottom bounce, entry, range break. It's just so easy, isn't it, to spot market structure. High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, where we're expecting to go next. Lower low. Simplifies it. What about your market reversal strategy? Oh yeah, I was still trading that. I'm developing this for futures mainly. I want something simple in futures that I can use. But obviously, this works in Forex, works in everything. Anything you basically want to trade, you can do it with this. So that would be 40 for half an ADR. But you see how the market reversal alert indicator works. It's absolutely beautiful. That will give you an alert there. There's a retest. Yeah. That would be your alert. Haven't had a retest. But you get in there. 1 bar pullback. You get in again. Yeah. So the market reversal alert indicator works on open and close of candles. So these are candles. So it works in exactly the same way. But a lot of indicators get really screwed up on this. So things like the RSI, for example, I'll show you here. Yeah, RSI shot. Doesn't work, look. Never gets extended. You'd have to tweak RSI, I think, if you wanted to use something like this. But that's not what Renko's about. Renko's a charting system designed to show you simplified price action, to get rid of all the chop, to stop you over trading, really. So if you're an overtrader, if you know you're an overtrader, it could be a really good way to get in. Yeah, the alerts you would have taken on this here, you'd have got in May last year. And you'd have got out somewhere around there. You'd have had other alerts in the middle there, but have a play if you want to. But I'm planning to do some futures sessions because I've got this futures account sitting dormant with 100k in it, and I want to use it. But I'm just trying to find something that is non-brain intensive that I can have running. So that I can literally just simply spot patterns to jump in towards the beginning of the New York session and get out by end of New York. So here's the NAS and the S&P. So it's coming down today. Just got into my additional entry on that one. So we got 512 there. So I'll be looking at 250, 125 would be a quarter ADR. Let's have a look at what that looks like on S&P. So that is a quarter of an ADR S&P move. Obviously, it's been coming down dramatically. There's that little push up there. So we've just put in some bullish price action. So, with something like the S&P, for example, you could literally hit the buy button now and hit the sell button when it turns black. Look how fast it's painting the Renkos, look. That's too quick. I think that's too quick, isn't it? 125. It's probably more like, yeah, actually it is 1250, isn't it? That's why. Yeah, 1250 would be the proper level. So there we go. So, you know, using multiple time frames or multiple bricks really as well to analyze the market in detail. But again, spotting double tops and double bottoms, you can fine tune these to whatever you think works best for you. But triple top bounce, entry there, stop there, 2 bricks, 2 brick drop. Yeah. Here's a good example of support and resistance. The other strategy I showed you, support and resistance. Yeah. Pushed up to a high there. If we get brick paint like this, yeah, i.e. that next brick paints to this level, and then the brick after it paints to that level, what have we got? Market structure. Yeah. But looking at it here, can you see that there? Difficult to spot, isn't it, here? But here, you can't miss it. But then again, if this now paints green here, you wouldn't be entering. So you've got to also get a brick number that gives you enough entries in a day. So, you know, if you get strong price action going up, there's a chance that you'd never make a trade with some of these, which is why I've been spending time looking at different pairs and trying to figure out what's the best sort of brick size for each pair. But again, it's very subjective. A lot of people trade futures with very low brick numbers. So the lower the brick number you go, obviously the more chop you introduce onto the chart. But then in my opinion, you're better off staying on a normal candlestick chart if you want to see the chop. But here you go, look. Yeah. So there's that down move. There. Push up. But because it's smoothed out, it's taking this area here, which we haven't quite got to yet. So if this pushes now down to there, that would be where the Renko would form. So, but anyway, very interesting. As I say, I've been spending a lot of time over Christmas in my downtime looking into this because, as I said yesterday, the problem I find personally is I don't have a lot of time. I'm spending a lot of time in the live room. I'm spending a lot of time trading. And I'm looking for something to simplify my life with futures, really, because I've got a really good futures account sitting there ready to trade, and obviously I just don't have the time at the moment to trade it. So this is my idea behind development of this, and I've been concentrating on the S&P and the NAS, trying to find a decent brick value, but I've been using NinjaTrader, which comes with Renko built in, so slightly different. But go and have a play with it. Go and find some Renko generators if you like, and see how you get on. But combining that with the market reversal alert indicator as well, the indicator will give you those confirmations. So if you stuck the market reversal alert indicator on this here, you would have got an alert there, and it's a break in market structure shift. So it does the same thing, but again, it's alerting you when you're getting structure breaks. So from a long-term perspective, it's absolutely brilliant in that respect as well. So we've got bottom bounce coming in here, look, potentially. Let's see if we get this brick painted. So if we do get down to here and we get this painted as a bearish brick, we'll be looking for a green one. Can you share the Renko indicator and show us how to set it up on the chart? So the one I'm using is STG Renko. Don't know why I've got two market reversal, my ADR indicators on there. SGG Renko, go and Google it, you find it. It's on Forex Factory. I found this one, I think. I can't remember. I've just tried loads of them. But you set the block size. There's lots of settings in here. Go through the settings, you'll figure out what they are. I just have mine set up to normal Renko, but there's other different types of Renko. You can have them working off the mean rather than off high-low. Ask and bid. There's lots of other settings, hourly is what I normally have it set to. That's set to 4 hourly for some reason. So this updates obviously the bricks on an hourly basis. So again, there's another thing you can tweak and change. You need to play around with, obviously. So yeah, there's all sorts of settings you can have in there. Let's put that about 4 hour a minute, so we can see as it was before. And you've got wicks as well. It will show you wicks on candles if you want them, but for me that kind of defeats the object. I can read price action with candlesticks, so why would I want wicks on my Renkos? But yeah, so go and have a play, muck about with it, and see how it if it can work for you. So we're pulling back to this level that I was looking at. Remember, this is where I had my buy because of this consolidation here. So this is the area I was interested in getting to my additional position, which I've just got into. Let me just flip back to my normal setup. UN New Zealand's tried to push up to the highs again. Didn't quite get there. Any other questions on Renko? I say, if I'm back testing the strategy at the moment, if I can get it working well, then obviously I will do a bit more trading of it in here with my futures account. And see if we can dominate the market with Renko. But for the moment, gaps and market reversal alerts are working absolutely fine. So looking at gaps, S&P, got one down there to get to, but again with the S&P, the same as NAS, we're falling into this area of consolidation at the moment, which we seem to be rejecting nicely from. So again, from a volume perspective, for those with volume profile experience, volume profile yesterday will have had a big volume spike in there, which is bullish volume because it was generated after an up move, and that's what we've tapped into and seem to be rejecting off today. So that's where I was looking for the pullback to. Got it on the S&P, not got it on the NAS yet. But on the also on the Renko side of things, if I'll do a video on it basically just to go through the strategies and entries. But the entry strategies are exactly the same as I trade every day. Market structure breaks, M&W patterns, trend pullback continuations, which is exactly what this is here. This is just a trend pullback continuation. So it's exactly the same stuff, just simplified. To cut down on chart time. It's all the same stuff. Oops. So I just answering somebody in Telegram. Okay, so we're coming from ADR low on the S&P at the moment. Nice rejection. NAS is rejecting as well. So potentially we're going to get a reverse alert shortly on the NAS. didn't quite get down to my entry on that, unfortunately. Basically came off the top of this area here. So if we get this reversal alert, we'll be looking for a retest push high today. Obviously pushing above these highs, which will get me back above break even. In which case I'll probably get out of one of these, either the S&P or the NAS. A little overloaded being in both. What's everybody's thoughts today on the indices, long or short? Stick it in the chat. Where do you think we're going today? So M1 S&P not quite got the alert still. So it's more than half an ADR pushed down from the open on the S&P. That still looks like it wants to go higher at the moment. Andy reckons we're going long. Yeah, I think we're going long today. Nice solid push. So we've broken above the Asian. We haven't broken above yet. We are attempting to break above Asian lows. So nice liquidity run plus buying pressure push. So looking for market structure moves to the high. So any pushes, play the pullbacks long. US 100 may take out the London high. Yeah, I would expect it to today. So there's your high, London high, just about where my break even is. Sorry, is that London high? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, an ADR move is on indices. An ADR move is either just about or smashed with indices, I find. If you look at the like all these moves here, so we're roughly around a sort of 3,000 ADR on this. So there's a 3,600 move there. We've got 3,000 move roughly there. Just under 2,000, 2,700. Yeah, so it's roughly around an ADR, and it's quite good. But you get these like whacking great 2 ADR, 1.5 ADR surges. These ones in the NAS actually are a little uncharacteristic, but we got one back here before Christmas. I was watching somebody on YouTube actually when this was happening. It was quite amusing. I was watching a streamer who was long in this all day. He didn't blow his account, but he wasn't far off by the time we got to the close. But you know, days like this are very rare. A lot of the time we are talking roughly an ADR. So if we're looking at an ADR push from the lows here, obviously this is where the ADR indicator comes into it. That's going to put in a new high on London. you see where my TP is on my position here. So I'm looking really to TP. Probably I might take one off this afternoon if we push back up to here. I've already taken one off today. But that's kind of where I'd be looking for a close above London high today. And that basically gives you a bullish candle. So we're looking to go bullish on NAS and S&P. We are bullish at the moment, but a nice break and a decent bullish candle, and then start the next run to the upside. We've had a really nice considerable pullback, and that's, this is what these indices are designed to do. Buying as we're coming down, and then off we go up to the highs and we sell at the highs. That's how the market works, isn't it? We buy at the lows, we sell at the highs. It's really simple. It's been around for a long time, that term, isn't it? Buy low, sell high. Yeah. But that is what you do, literally, in indices. You buy low and you sell high. You don't have to buy, stop, buy, stop, buy, stop, buy, stop, blow your account, start again, buy, stop, buy, stop. You just buy as it comes down and you get out when it goes up. You just don't use stupid lot sizing. Yeah, that's all we do, is scale in, scale out. But the NAS has had a really big drop. So I would expect an update today. But you never know. Could go lower. We've had the reversal alert on 4 hour on both. Yeah. And after we get the reversal alert, the majority of the time we retest. Yeah. So we'll be looking for that uneven W formation. But this is a really shallow retest. At the moment we've got on the NAS. But if you stick a fib on it, you'll find that we've done a 50% retracement. Not quite. 30, 38 retracement on that move. So yesterday's move, we've retraced it enough to push higher if we're on a strong trend. If we're going to start a strong trend. So all looking good. But it is a little bit like watching paint dry sometimes. Which is why it's always good to do little lessons on stuff. Fills the time while we're watching paint dry. So got a big strong candle just gone in there. So if this candle closes, how long we got? I got 1 minute till candle close. So if we close where we are now, we're going to form a gap here. So this is buying pressure. So obviously any pullbacks into this area, you can see we're hitting selling pressure here. So any pullbacks into this area, you can look to add to your positions. Obviously, if we are having a down day, this is where the sellers will be defending. So we're locked in a battle now between gaps. Break above or below would indicate which way we're going to go for the day. This gap obviously hasn't formed yet because this candle hasn't closed. But as soon as this candle closes, we'll get the gap form. Here we go. So there's a gap. So it's propulsion gap there, propulsion gap there. Sellers have stepped in. Obviously, when we started selling off at the end of London, that was continued in New York. So there is potential that if we're having a down day, sellers are going to defend this area. If we're having an up day, buyers are going to defend this area. And whoever wins will determine where we're off to. Unless we go into a rotational day, which does that. Either way, if you're buying low in a rotational day, you're going to make money still. So, which is why I enter at strategic areas as we're coming down. So if we go into a rotational day, as you saw this morning on the S&P, wrong one, that one. So my buy from yesterday here, I closed out as we took out the Asian highs today. So if we're in a rotation today and we're just going to do that, I've basically taken a profit, entered the position again, and I get a chance to take the profit again up there, waiting for obviously the move to the upside to start. Put another TP in at the highs up there. Defense of that area. So looks like we're looking like we want to push higher still in the NAS. So nobody's traded Renko before, apart from whoever it was that said they traded it and chucked it. Researching it for a year and then deciding it's a waste of time is solid research. Well played on that. Customer service. It's a good name, that. Who are you customer service for, if you're still there? Inquiring minds want to know. Okay, we're just looking to break above this area here. Yeah, so that gap's now filled. Okay, so we'll see what price action we get here. We're either going to reject or we're going to break. I think everybody goes through that phase, don't they, with charting systems like Heikinashi, Renko, Line. You know, there's lots of different ways to plot price, but they all work on time. The vast majority of obviously ways that we monitor work on time, and if you think about it, time has got absolutely nothing to do with price action. Yeah, price action is the movement of price up and down. How long it takes to do that shouldn't really be of a concern. If you like Euro New Zealand, yeah, Euro New Zealand hasn't gone anywhere for quite a while now. On sorry, wrong chart. M15 for what we into our fourth day, going nowhere. Yeah, so 4 days we don't even need to look at it. If you're on a Renko chart here, for example, plotting half an ADR, this is 100 ADR. So let's say you've got half ADR. All you're going to see is literally block up, block down, block up, block down, block up, block down, block up. That's it. That's all you're going to see. Yeah. Time is totally irrelevant, isn't it? We're interested at the moment on this particular instrument of a breakout to the upside or a breakout to the downside. And that's the beauty of it. I can easily identify a range. Most people can. But if you struggle, then that's how you would do it. Use something that simplifies that for you. What is your lot size per position on NAS and S&P per 1,000 in account? So S&P and NAS, I trade with a 0.2 basically. NAS I shouldn't be. NAS I should be entering with 0.1s. I get in a bit big on it, but really you want to enter with 0.1 per 1,000 in your account on S&P. With NAS, I would probably go half of that, really. But that's aggressive as well. So if you want to be conservative, I'd go lower. The thing with indices trading is I would be happy to add money into an account if it got into too much drawdown, but typically on S&P, historically, I'm happy to go into 20% drawdown on a position. So if when I'm trading pullbacks, this would be kind of where I'd get to 20% if it's a serious one like this. The these would be 5 to 10% drawdown, scaling in. Typically, I'll only scale in a couple of times a day. So on a 3-day down, or on a 3-down day drop, I'll be looking to get into roughly 6 positions. So you can kind of calculate it. So if you were to get in up here, let's put a stop on that. Yeah, and you were expected to get a 3-4 down day. So there's £100 worth of drawdown there on a 0.02. So calculate that as being, if you got down to there, you'd roughly 100 in drawdown. So if you were to scale in 6 times, you'd be in roughly six. You wouldn't be in 600 because they wouldn't all be that big, but you'd be in somewhere around 400 to 500 drawdown on a 3-down day, which on an account like this, which is 3K, is, it's not really a problem. It's just over 10%, isn't it? But what happens is when you're trading smaller time frames, obviously the temptation is always to get into more positions. So you tend to find that you don't get into 2 positions a day, you get into 3 or 4. So keep it as small as you want. If you want to get in aggressively, drop it down, yeah. Go in with ones, and doesn't matter, does it? If I hit that button, worst case scenario, it drops down to there, I lose £7 on a 200 pip drop. It's irrelevant, yeah. And I'll be happy to get into more of those types of positions. The only reason I'm hitting that now is because it is bullish, and we've just tested that propulsion candle, so it is actually a decent position to get. Yeah, and then obviously you can take multiples. So you're going to make less money, obviously, with lower positions. But if you get into more positions, and also you can knock them off, can't you, if you want to? So if this pushes down against you, as I did yesterday, I did some drawdown control. I took half off of these positions. So it's always the way with position trading. If you're going to do it, the smaller the entry, the less risk you're going to take, and the less drawdown you're going to go into. So there's no real answer to that. People will get in with really big positions on these trades, but if you're going to use a stop, obviously you can get in with whatever you want. But that's how I traded my futures account, is initial reversal alerts. So if we had a gap, we'd get a reversal alert rejection, and that would be my initial entry. And then if we pulled back down on the day, I would look for the other buy zones lower down, other gaps, to enter additional positioning, and then obviously get out that way. So when I traded my futures account, the reversal alert was the key entry, but the buying pressure below it was my additional entries. But obviously futures, you've got to be out the same day. So keep it small, obviously, is the mantra. You can always scale up. Yeah, worst case scenario, if you have a month and you trade like crazy and you're really, really excellent and you have a nice high profitable month and you only make 5%, you've made 5%. Yeah, if you go in with big lot sizing and you're going to drawdown and you crap your pants because you're 35% in drawdown, you can't scale down. Yeah, you can always increase, you can never drop it. You can drop it, but you've got to take a loss. Yeah. So start small, get an idea how it's going, and then next time you get in with 0.2s, next time you get in with 0.3s, and as your account grows, you increase your lot size. But you see what I've made, from a P&L perspective. I'm up £500. This is a pound account. £500 this month. I'm up 14% this month so far. With this lot size, with 0.2s. So, and that's on a 3K account. When this grows to 6K, I'll jump up to 0.3s and 0.4s. I do put the odd 0.3 and 0.4 in, as you'll notice, occasionally. But that's when I think we're in a really, really good spot. Similar to aggressive drawdown control on the normal position trading. So we're stalling out at the moment. This sell zone here and this buy zone here, battling away at the minute. We've had a reverse alert to the upside though, so much more selling pressure than buying. Just waiting to see who wins. And of course, another strategy you can use, obviously, which is a lot more risky, is obviously scaling in with a sort of a semi-martingale approach to it. So obviously slightly increasing your lot size as we pull back. Obviously, the deeper we pull back into the 24.72 and when we get down below the 72 especially, the odds and the edge become dramatically higher for a push, don't they? So you can obviously start to scale in small and then gradually increase lot size. And something I used to do a long time ago was to increase position sizing on a daily basis. So start off with 0.1s, for example, and then next day go 0.2s, make sure they're nicely spread. Next day go 0.3s. It's rare that you get more than 3 down day drops on the S&P before you get a recovery. There's a 4 there before we had a little bit of a push, and then obviously it came down a bit harder again there. But so you just gradually increase, waiting for that pop. And what it does is it means your average will always remain usually within an ADR. So as long as you're getting an ADR push, like there, for example, is an ADR push, 1 ADR to the high, you're always out. So worst case scenario, you might have a week where you just don't make money. But the weeks where you don't make money obviously are, very few and far between. But they happen. Still stuck sideways at the minute, just holding below the London lows. Just stuck here in this area chop at the minute. Trying to battle through. Really need to break that high. Get above London today. But not really got a lot of follow through at the minute. Good rejection out of this this area though. If you haven't done the bootcamp, go and watch the bootcamp videos if you're interested in position trading. Or basically, if you're getting cut to pieces with stop losses and you're suffering a death by 1,000 cuts continuously, go and watch the bootcamp and just have a look. You can't lose anything by watching. You might suddenly become a profitable trader. You never know. Let's have a look at how everything else is going. Aussie dollar CAD, still nothing. So we're just pushing back down into this area again. Just not getting anywhere on that one yet. London's been fairly fairly decent drop, but obviously nothing dramatic to the downside yet. CAD Swiss still stuck up at the highs. London, we've literally gone 10 pips, quarter of an ADR today. Euro Swissy starting to roll ever so slowly. Beautiful M, nice reversal alert and retest at the moment going in. Just still in consolidation at the moment, but looking heavy. Really like this level and these gaps for at least a pullback, at least. And then I'll scale out some down there. Euro New Zealand stuck highs. So again, looking at these highs, triple top. Ever so slightly higher every day. Yesterday's high being put in by a couple of pips every day at the moment, but also breaking out of these lows. Yeah, so just expanding at the minute, just micro expanding. Pound New Zealand, just got the one on that still. Still not moved, just gradually grinding ever so slightly higher. Obviously looking for the pullback. Still extended. Yeah, very, very, very slow week so far this week. Just real grind. Get weeks like this where we sit in drawdown for a week, sometimes 2, and then all of a sudden the whole thing just goes whoom, and you just bank the lot. You just bank 5-10%, done. Just have to sit through these horrible paint drying sessions. Laurie, what prop firm did you go with for your futures account? Apex. So Apex, ApexTraderFunding.com. There's a lot of prop firms out there. There's 2 different types of prop firm out there. Apex are one of the ones that don't fund you, basically. So the prop firms, there's people like Topstep and FTMO, where they fund you with their own funds. The majority of prop firms out there, like Apex, will pass you off to a prop firm. So you basically pass the evaluation, and then the account that you get given is from a prop firm. And the way that you get funded, from what I can work out, is dependent on how you have traded. So if you're one of those traders who has had what looks like a lucky run, you will probably find the prop firm would turn you down. Therefore, Apex would turn around and let you trade on a demo. And if you didn't blow the account, they would use the funds from the people that fail the evaluations to pay you. If you look like you know what you're doing, you've got solid risk reward and consistent profit curve, the prop firm would take you on and fund you with real cash. But I don't think you ever find out, to be honest. But FTMO and Topstep will fund you with their own funds. That's why it takes a lot longer to get the money. Apex, you pass, next day you're funded. Money's in your account. The other reason I like Apex is it's a one-step evaluation as well, which is brilliant. So, but if you want to go futures, you're limited really. Apex, Lilu is the other one. Lilu, I've traded with Lilu as well. And Topstep futures, obviously. But Topstep, way more rules, way more difficult to pass. 2-step evaluation, way more rules, basically. So, yeah. But if you're trading any futures, really, you're going to be trading on NinjaTrader. So, really nice push up on both of those then being rejected. So big selling pressure just coming in. Real struggle in this area between the buyers and sellers. Deep stop on New Zealand dollar CAD. Yeah, good stop hunt there. Literally, probably half an ADR, is it? 16. Not quite. So yeah, decent looking hammer potentially going in on New Zealand dollar CAD at the minute. News-wise this afternoon, I didn't cover news today, did I? We've had Fed Chair Powell speaking. So there's no news. News is gone. Missed it. 3 o'clock. We had Powell testifying. Let's have a quick look at the index. 3-bar reversal to the downside. So looks like he said something bearish at 3 o'clock. Which is there. So we had a big push down, but nothing dramatic. Again, you know, don't want to labour the point, but they work. We're just coming down into a buy area as well. So obviously from a reversal alert perspective, just be aware of buying and selling zones. If you're trading lower time frames, obviously you're going to have way more of them and way more chop. When you go up into higher time frames, obviously it all smooths out. So like anything, any indicator you use, the higher the time frame, the better it's going to be for you. Unless you're using Renko charts, then time doesn't come into the equation, does it? It doesn't exist. Price. We are just shopping today. It looks to me like it's potentially going to be a rotational day. So we're just going to... we may get up to the highs, but doesn't look like there's going to be a directional bias today. It just seems really, really choppy. Quite often we get this big move out of the open and then we don't manage to get out the 15-minute open, which is exactly what we're doing today. So we're stuck at the moment within the 15-minute range, and we, you know, if we sit here for a couple of hours to lunch, we may get an afternoon move, but still no opening range breakout at all yet. But no directional bias whatsoever. Hideous. Let's see if we crack these lows. If we do crack these lows, we'll be pushing down potentially. So get rid of that stop. So plan for today, if we're pushing down and making new lows, I'll be looking to get in again at yesterday's low, which will be a 200% ADR move. And if we do that, we're putting in a double bottom, a W reversal. So if we are going to push down to there, that's the plan for this afternoon to get in there. There's this area here of strong buying pressure, which we put in yesterday afternoon, which obviously I was continuously scaling out of. So might look at putting another position in there, but the EA is running on this for me anyway. So as we push down and we get the next push back up, I'm going to get into another position anyway on this. So same plan for the NAS. Entry at the low. I've got a net buy limit here, which is this area of interest that we didn't touch yet, which we did touch on the S&P, but this area here. So I'll be getting in again there. If not, pushes down to the lows, but obviously there's going to be a 200% ADR move, which is, you know, not usual, not typical for either of these 200% ADR. So which is what makes me think today might just be a kind of rotational day where we're just flip-flopping around, chopping everybody in the market to pieces. Yeah, everybody that's trying to trade now with a stop is being chopped. We're holding this area at the minute, just about. So see if we get some nice bullish price action out of here. But these two zones here are definitely in control today. So difficult direction. Oil boy, I trade mostly the US 30. Is there a reason why you like the S&P or the NAS? Just because it's the same thing and you got to pick one, really. They're the same thing. Price action wise, yes. Whichever one you pick, they pretty much do the same price action, just with varying degrees of chop. Yeah, if you scroll out on them all. Oh. Yeah, all the same. Oh, a bit too far. Yeah, so you're trading the same thing. So pick one. It doesn't matter which you use. They all do the same thing. The pullbacks on the 30 and the NAS tend to be deeper. The S&P is more orderly and slower because you're using 500 stocks in the indices. So therefore, there's more micro parts contributing to the price action. Therefore, you get a smoothed trend, which is why most people like the S&P. The NAS is for the aggressive. I kind of liken these two. If you want to use the analogy of cars, yeah, this is a Formula One car. This is a road Ferrari. Both quick, both awesome. Except this one, you've got to have bigger muscles in your neck to hold on to it. It moves a lot faster, and obviously get paid a hell of a lot more. As an F1 driver. But yeah, it's just the moves on the NAS are much more dramatic. A little bit like gold, yeah? Gold has a life of its own if you trade gold. Gold will put in these crazy big moves, like out of nowhere. There's a really good example here. Yeah. Out of nowhere. Boom. Massive drop. Yeah, you don't get this on FX pairs. Yeah, you don't get these huge multi ADR spikes which come out of nowhere. You look at these on lower time frames, they can scare the life out of you. If you're a position trader, and this is why I do not trade gold as a position trader. If you're trading this and you go short, this thing goes whoop like that, and then like that. You're stuffed. You don't get the entries. You can't get entries because the moves are so big. But this is what attracts everybody to gold. It's the reward. Everybody concentrates on the reward, not the risk. So therefore, everyone's like, I'm going to trade US dollar ZAR. I'm going to trade gold. I'm going to trade the NAS because they've got big rewards attached to them when they do these big moves. But equally, your losses are exponentially increased as well. So you're better off trading safer instruments. Oh, just shut the wrong chart there. You're better off trading safer instruments, in my opinion. But each to their own. There's no right or wrong. Pick the one you like. But at the end of the day, don't trade them all because they all do the same thing. So if you go long on the S&P, the NAS, and the US 30, whatever you want to call it, you're entering the same trade 3 times. Therefore, you're increasing your risk by 3. You lost a lot of money on gold. And the DAX gave up on them. Yeah, exactly. If you keep a journal of your trades and you can identify instruments which hurt you, eventually you will stop trading them, like I did with gold. I tried trading gold so much because everybody trades gold. Everybody loves to trade gold. And, the exotics, I went through a phase of trading the exotics for a while. Because of the potential upside is great, but you will find that they will hurt you if you really don't know them inside out, and that's where you stop trading them basically. when you identify that, which is why I stick to what I know, which is why I don't trade crypto. Yeah, massive rewards on crypto. But no one can tell me you even invented the thing, let alone what powers it. If you can't tell me how the thing was invented, who invented it, and how it's powered, what moves it, I'm not really interested in trading it. I know what moves currencies, it's fundamentals, and they follow patterns. Let's have a look at Bitcoin, actually. We looked at it this morning, didn't we? We were saying this is an awesome place to buy Bitcoin. Not done anything, is it? Yes, we identified this double bottom on Bitcoin this morning. Yeah, so we tapped into that. Beautiful bounce point. But at the moment, since April, all we're doing is ranging. Yeah, everybody started going, crypto's the best thing since sliced bread. When it did that, yeah. If you missed that, crypto is now just another thing that goes up and down. Yeah, just it's not as exciting as you think. The fact that the tick value is so massive is what attracts people to it. But obviously people blow their accounts way more on crypto than they do on anything else because they're trying to trade something that is just volatile as hell. You know, look at the size of that move. This is on a 5-minute chart. We've gone down 164,000 ticks. Yeah, you really got to adjust your lot size on that, haven't you? Cot R gives some BTC fundamentals. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I haven't really studied it. As I say, it's not really for me, Bitcoin and crypto at the moment. When the banks start using it more and it becomes more used in general circles, Tesla started accepting Bitcoin. You could buy a Tesla in Bitcoin. Yeah, then they stopped because there was something going wrong, so they decided to stop it. So we've tried to do it. Bitcoin can only accept 30 transactions a second. Visa can accept 2,000 transactions a second. Yeah, so the overall usefulness of crypto is great if you want to buy a car and do one transaction and sit there and wait for that transaction to go through the blockchain. When you do a Visa, there's only 1,999 transactions ahead of you in the queue, and there's a much more chance you're going to get the transaction happening immediately. So business isn't going to accept it until there's more stability on it, I don't think, and more fundamental investment in the banks, from the banks in it. And a lot of the banks or a lot of the countries rather, are saying that they're going to introduce and have introduced their own cryptocurrencies, therefore taking the decentralization out of it, which takes the advantage of it out, in my opinion. The whole advantage of it is it's anonymous and decentralized. At the moment, it is, but that's what makes it so volatile and dangerous to trade. Elon Musk makes a tweet, crypto goes crazy. I don't really want to be involved in something where somebody can say something on Twitter and affect my financial future. At the moment, my MT4 seems to have locked up again for some reason. Isn't this the sort of time yesterday afternoon it did that as well? This is Axie locking up. My other accounts are all working fine. This is an Axie lockup. This is twice in 2 days we've had this happen with Axie. Interesting. Anybody else on Axie just have that happen? Okay, so we just pushed down, attempted new lows. Haven't quite got there yet. This candle's just started, so we'll see what happens on this candle. May well be trying to push down for new lows today. This is my first time in the live room. Is this available for free around this time every day? Yep. Go and have a look on the website on the marketstructuretrader.com. So just go live room, and all the information about the live room's there. So twice a day, 8:30 a.m. UK and 2 p.m. UK. All on YouTube. The morning session, basically 8:30 session, is just an overview really of charts, having a look at all the standard positions basically, so all my normal positions on Forex, and just what we're looking to get into really. Afternoon sessions is a recap of that. We're looking at opportunities for RSI extensions and ADR extensions. And afternoon, obviously, starting to do a bit more indice trading. Axie's okay for you, David? Yeah. Don't know why it's my for some reason it's only my Axie that does that. My other MT4s I've got open aren't locking up with other brokers, so very weird. And it's only weird, it's just that a couple of minutes, and it seemed to happen at this time yesterday, wasn't it? Somewhere around this time. Very odd. And maybe Axie's trying to upset the EA by freezing. Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think Axie know I exist. Well, they do know I exist, obviously, but I'm just a number, I'm not a name. But yeah. We seem to be stuck. So at the moment, obviously, we've had, if you look at the NAS and the S&P on M15, we are stuck at the moment within control candle land. So London session is there. Sorry, London session, New York session. So yeah, we kind of gone out to the up and the upside a little bit on the NAS, haven't we? But I mean, we've not gone anywhere. So at the moment, we're just basically being propped up by this area of volume. It looks bearish at the minute from a price action point of view on the S&P. But to me, it looks a little bit bullish on NAS. So really mixed signals today. It's just chop up and down. So unless we get a break to the downside, obviously, which will power up hopefully the next leg up. I don't think we're going to go really too far today. Hopefully we just break to the upside. But at the moment, ain't going anywhere. CAD Yen just popped above 1 ADR to close the gap. Mine hasn't. Didn't quite touch for me. Again, your broker may be 6 pips out, but yeah, ADR not quite hit ADR, but beautiful reversal going in. Nice hammer. Shooting stars to the upside. I'll wait for the reversal alert on it to get in, but that's just a retest at the moment on the hourly. Again, it's if you look at it, since we broke up to this high and had the first pullback in beginning of January, 3rd of January, we've just not gone anywhere. We're just range bound. So much of the market is like this at the minute. It's just a horrible choppy mess. But always trade your own charts. Yeah, if you've hit ADR, you've hit ADR. Trade your own charts. Someone's just asked in the Telegram group what time is Asian time in the market. That you can't answer that question. It's UTC based, so if you want to know what time it is, Forex sessions, there's this thing called Google. Sorry, I've not been pedantic, but there is this thing called Google, and there's a website called Baby Pips, and it gives you all the information you ever need to know about sessions and everything. But the market works on UTC, and most of your brokers will work on UTC +2. So UTC is where we are in London time here, GMT. So my chart is showing 5:50. It's 3:50 in the afternoon here. So UTC +2 is what the vast majority of brokers will work on. Yeah. So if you're in here from the Telegram group, there you go. That's your Themba. That's your question answered. If not, I'll direct you to this video and you can come watch it. Actually, let me just send a link in Telegram. That'll answer his question. If he's not in it. Okay, so still no break of the lows at the moment. Not going anywhere, are we? Right, I'm going to call it a day there because this market's dead. So you know what I'm doing. I'm basically waiting for some price action. So we're either going to the positions that I have on at the moment, we're either going to push higher and I'm going to take profit on them, or we're going to push lower and I'm going to scale in as we come down. Either way, nothing's happening at the minute. So I've got the EA running on my VPS. So as we push down, every reversal alert will be taken along. And I will just be getting in. I'm not going to bother watching it because I've got better things to do, to be honest. So good luck this afternoon. If you're going to continue to try and trade this choppy mess. All the other positions I've got on at the moment, as I say, they're all kind of literally, this is the story of the week at the moment. Everything's just hanging at the minute. Nothing is on my radar as annoying me at the moment. 2.5% really is when I start to think I want to do something about it. We're not there. So the whole lot at the minute, we've just literally ground like this so far since I entered these positions. So waiting on some movement basically, which we're not seeing at present. So but yeah, hopefully we'll start to get some movement in the market tomorrow. But the problem this week is, as I say, it's just a light news week. We've got nothing but US dollar news this week. So we're waiting for new US dollar movement, basically. We've got some crude tomorrow, so that might affect the Canadian dollar. But yeah, it's just it's one of those horrible flat weeks for news, and obviously news is what moves the market, and if there isn't any, it don't move. So okay, so I'll call it a day there. I'll be back tomorrow at 8:30 usual time UK for the morning session, morning analysis before London, or just as London starts, and then obviously back again tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock. If you liked the stream, give it a thumbs up. And if you need anything, come and join the Telegram group. If you want any help with indicators or strategy or anything that I do, I'm always in the Telegram group, so you can always come and ask questions in there. But other than that, I'll be back tomorrow morning. We're getting a bit of bullish price action in here, so this potentially is very nice bullish W formation starting to form at the moment, just as I start to go off. But yeah, so come and join the Telegram group. And if you need anything, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow morning at 8:30. Have a good afternoon.